confront the climate crisis and save this planet, we have to phase out of fossil fuels. So first of all, I want to thank you for raising your voice against fossil fuels. I also want to thank you for your courage, your willingness to leave your comfort zone, put your bodies on the line, and engage in nonviolent civil disobedience. This is the time for civil disobedience, right? We've been polite, we've marched, we've protested, we've written, we've made speeches. We have to up the ante now. We have little time left. The opportunity to save the planet and our future, the window on that is closing rapidly, and we have to do something about it, and we have to be very brave. You know, I'm sure that we've all seen documentaries where people like Martin Luther King and others all over the world have been brave and stood up to the batons and the dogs and the water and the police, and they do it anyway. And have you ever seen a documentary like that and asked yourself, would I be brave enough? Would I be able to stand up for that? This is our documentary moment, and you all are being very brave, and we all need to follow your example. Thank you so, so much. Stay safe.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go.
Climate activists helped elect Biden. We have to tell him that he's got to earn our votes.
Hello. Thank you so much, Michael, for inviting me, and thanks to Jane. Is that amazing? Jane Fonda. I mean, she's been setting the example for decades in this work. Anyway, thanks for inviting me to speak. I just want to tell everyone here, thank you for coming. You know, some of you might know that about a year ago, I got out of 993 days of detention after being targeted with the first corporate prosecution in the history of this country. I worked against Chevron on behalf of indigenous peoples in the Amazon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for appreciating, you know, what we've done as a team. It's not my case. We have a lot of lawyers and leaders from the Amazon who worked their butts off for 28 years to get to where we've gotten. The case is still alive, and you know, they tried to use this to silence me, just like they tried to silence this movement, and they're not going to succeed. It's not going to work, and it's not working. You know as well as I that the more effective the movement becomes, the more vicious they become. Okay. You know, I got locked up by a corporation. There are people now in Atlanta, climate activists facing domestic terrorism charges. It is shameful what's happening in this country. We need to be aware, and you guys are so aware, and I'm so glad like you're here, and like the president is over there, like taking corporate money. I mean, can you imagine? He claims to be the climate president, yet he's taking corporate money from entities that are destroying the planet. He can't do both. Okay? You cannot do both. You cannot get away with both. And it's up to us, it's up to the people to hold them accountable. And we must understand the climate movement, in my humble opinion, is also the democracy movement. If we cannot protect what is left of our democracy in this country, we will not have the space to do the advocacy needed to save the planet. It's that simple, okay? They have a playbook. They have a playbook, and it is to silence us when we become too effective. Okay, it's very simple. And they're changing the laws little by little all across the country at the state level to make climate warriors into the new criminals into the new terrorists when they themselves are committing criminal acts to destroy the planet. Yeah. So let's be strong and let's recognize what's happening. Let's keep our eyes wide open and understand that the movement to protect democracy in this country is intimately tied to the movement to protect the planet and the labor movement and the criminal justice reform movement and all the movements.
Yes, all of it.
We cannot live and do this work in isolation from other movements.
Right.
This is all connected, and let's connect the dots, okay? Yes. Thank you so much for coming out. I mean, I'm thanking you. I mean, damn, I'm like, you're an inspiration. You really are. Especially the younger generation that understands the need to confront the power structure. That the old rules are not going to allow for the change necessary to get us where we need to get. I mean, you get that, okay? So thank you so much. You're an inspiration. Thanks for inviting me to share a few words.
Thank you.
Fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go.
So no justice, no justice,
no peace,
No justice.
no peace,
no peace,
no peace. No peace! No peace!
no justice,
No peace!
Joe Biden, get off it.
Put people over profit! Put people over profit! Joe Biden, get off it! Put people over profit!
Shut down Willow.
Shut down Willow! 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 Shut down Willow!
Cause we need clean air.
Not another billionaire!
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 No peace. No justice.
No peace!
My name is Eric Weltman. I'm a Brooklyn-based organizer of Food and Water Watch. We're here to send a message to President Biden, who's here at a fundraiser with billionaire fat cats, that we need Biden to stand up to the fossil fuel industry and move the nation off fossil fuels. We are in a climate crisis, and we need Biden to have the courage to stop fossil fuels, to stop fossil fuel infrastructure, to stop fracking around with our future, and really take the climate crisis seriously, because our future is on the line.
We're gonna be right here.
Our city! Our city!
We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide.
We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side. Wall Street Joe, you can't hide. We can see your greedy side. No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
I said, what do we want?
Climate justice.
When do we want it?
down. If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it
I
down.
said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
what do we want?
Climate
When
justice.
do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Climate justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
don't get it.
Shut it down.
Said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
hey, hey, ho, ho, these fossil fuels have got to go.
Go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go.
Thank you so much for being here. We are so honored to have two amazing speakers, Margaret and Yulene. Margaret just wrote a book that I am really excited to read, Facing the Climate Emergency, about coping with the climate crisis. She will share more. And Yulene is a former state assembly member who was very close to winning a seat for Congress, and I'm guessing might do so again, hopefully.
I've not made that decision.
So without further ado,
So, I'm a clinical psychologist by training, okay? Talking with people about their feelings and their problems, but I became a climate activist. And why? Because everybo's gone crazy, right? We are in a collective state of delusion, and the climate activists, you all, are waking us up, right? Climate activists say we cannot continue with business as usual. We cannot continue expanding the fossil fuel infrastructure. That's suicidal. And so I think that emotions are very important in understanding and moving us into action. So I was just wondering if anyone here is angry. I'm wondering if anyone here is fucking terrified. 54% of young people globally think that humanity is doomed. Okay? These are not normal times, and the idea that we should be doing another petition, another call to your congressperson, it's not enough. We need direct action. We need to disrupt normalcy, and I'm very excited about what you all are doing. So I hope you take that righteous anger and that totally valid fear and continue to put it into activism. That's the truth, is normalcy, the delusion of normalcy, that's the diagnosis, and activism is the cure. So, thanks so much.
I don't need a megaphone, you guys. I'm sorry. I don't need it. The name of your book.
Sorry. Facing the Climate Emergency, How to Transform Yourself with Climate Truth.
Ooh.
I have a few copies on the side. Come see me.
I'll take one. I don't know if I need this. Do I need this? Yeah. Gather in a little bit. It's a little storytelling time. So, my name is Yulene New, for folks who know me, for folks who don't know me. I used to be an assembly member representing Lower Manhattan, and I did run for Congress in New York 10.
Sorry you didn't win.
It's okay. For Brooklyn and for Lower Manhattan. So, obviously for me, as somebody who used to work for the EPA, and then also had an amazing mentor named Billy Frank Jr. Folks probably have heard of him. He's an incredible tribal leader who actually is somebody who I learned a lot from before as a student, and then later on really thought about him as I worked for the US EPA. In that time, when I was actually walking with him to all the salmon runs throughout Washington State, he actually told me to watch out for something, and I continue to do that every single day. One of the things that we are seeing right now with the Willow project, right, is that we're not listening to the people who are the most impacted. We are not listening to the tribal members who are most impacted. The tribes there on the ground have already told us, right, that their food sources, that their sustainable food sources are going to be impacted. Billy Frank Jr. was part of a movement that actually ended up in a decision in Washington State called the Bolt decision. People probably have not heard of it, but it is a huge win for the Native community and something that I think has to be applied in every single decision by our government when talking about treaties and treaty rights. The Bolt decision itself, right, was about making sure that if for example, Washington State wanted to sell the Columbia River, right, to Dasani, to Coca-Cola, and we couldn't, and the state could not, because of the Bolt decision, because of the right to hunt and fish that was written into the treaties in Washington State. Billy Frank Jr. was Nisqually, and he was able to start something called the fishing wars in order to make sure that he had the continued right to fish on protected national land, right? But he always had the right to do so. And he continued to fight and continued to fight, and he made sure that Washington State was continuing to preserve and make sure that the land that was getting encroached upon by our government was not sold, was not given away, and it was res land. One of the things that people don't realize, and you could actually see this, when I was working at the EPA and I went to the Office of Water and I saw as, we overlaid and saw as little by little reservation land was taken, right? They need another gas station, they need another thing, little by little. And then all of a sudden, all of the resources, all of the things that we actually signed into law and treaty law. By the way, treaties are actually, they supersede federal law. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right? They are the first and biggest agreements that our government has with our Native tribes. And they, as sovereign nations, have the right to make sure that they are able to preserve their sustainable resources. That's right. So right now, and I know that young people here, they don't love homework. I'm sorry. I'm going to assign you 3 things to do. So there's 3 things, 3 actions for this action, right? And one of them is to make sure that you are calling your legislators, your Congress members, right, to make sure that they are actually signing on to Jamal Bowman's letter. In New York, we have the majority of our Democratic Congress members signed on to this letter to make sure that we are stopping the Willow project. Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, the guy I ran against actually is not on this letter because he actually has investments that will, in the oil companies that are going to get rich from this. So I think it's very important that we are asking all of our Democratic leaders. In fact, the Democratic, representative here in this area is actually on this letter. Wow. Thank you, Jerry Nadler. So I want to make sure that we are actually fighting to make sure that we are actually having all of our Congress members on this letter. That is very important because we need the ammunition to fight. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The second thing I want you to do, I want you to join one of our amazing organizations here today so that we can continue this fight and make sure that we are building numbers. We have to make sure that we have Sunrise Movement. Sunrise. That we are fighting to hear New York Communities for Change. Right? Join us so that we can continue to fight for all of our community here as well. And then, of course, the overall global climate initiatives, right? And I think that the last thing I want you to do is to make sure that you're all talking to one another, right? Connect with somebody next to you so that the next movement and the next movement and the next action and the next action, you have somebody to go with. So thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to continue to join you. Thank you.
All right, you all. So we are gathered here today because President Biden while ignoring our cries and our needs is at a fundraiser that costs $25,000 per plate. At an apartment that is worth $24.9 million, owned by billionaire Tony James, who used to be the executive vice president of Blackstone. And meanwhile, 3 million people have signed the Stop Willow petition, and he hasn't listened to us because he's too busy whining and dining with billionaires. They said he had to approve Willow in order to get reelected.
Shame. That's bullshit.
And his approval ratings have gone down since he approved Willow.
Sorry.
Climate voters elected you, Joe!
Yes, climate voters elected Joe Biden, and we cannot and will not be ignored. This is a president who bowed down to Lisa Murkowski,
Shame.
who wanted hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil produced every day in her state.
Shame.
This is not some legislative mastermind we are dealing with in this president. This is a president who is out of his depths, giving away our future, our planet, our air, everything we love for what? For nothing, to enrich a few billionaires. So we are going to show up, and we are going to keep showing up and keep growing, because this stuff is working. We are making a difference. We are having an impact. Today, a few of us tried to show up to a speech by John Podesta, and they had every type of security imaginable because they saw us shut down a John Podesta speech 2 weeks ago, and they know they can't argue with us on the merits, so they hire every genre of security guard to protect John Podesta from hearing from us.
Shame.
But that's okay, because we blockaded John Podesta's SUV when he was on the way out. So, direct action is effective. Direct action works. We need to be more disruptive, more confrontational, more intense.
Let's do it!
It's what we need. This stuff works. 2 weeks ago, several of us blockaded the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Which of you all came down for that? There are a few folks here came down. This stuff makes a difference. Blockading the Correspondents' Dinner, we turned away Secret Service members. They tried to drive into us, but we held our ground, and they had to turn around. This stuff is really making a big difference. I'll share one story from the Correspondents' Dinner. U.S. Senator Tina Smith from Minnesota had yet to come out against the Line 3 pipeline in her own home state. And she had been asked many times for years. And as U.S. Senator Tina Smith was trying to wade through our blockade, she came out against Line 3 for the first time ever. Yes, amen. So, keep showing up, keep fighting, keep putting on the pressure. They are scared of us because this is working. We shut down 3 back-to-back speeches by Ali Zaidi, the White House climate advisor, And by the third one, all of the staff had all of our faces and names memorized. People in DC and elsewhere are starting to get really nervous because they see our movement coming, and they are, they know we have the facts on our side, and they know we have the people, and they're feeling the heat. So please keep doing this, and I will turn it over to Jonathan.
Biden,
drop fossil fuels.
Biden, drop fossil fuels. Biden, drop fossil fuels. Biden, drop fossil fuels. Biden, drop fossil fuels. Biden, drop fossil fuels. Biden, drop fossil fuels. Biden, drop fossil fuels. All right. So, Joe Biden is up in this Upper East Side penthouse right there, right now, raising thousands and thousands of dollars from Wall Street executives instead of actually doing what he committed he was going to do when he ran for president, which is shut down fossil fuel projects all across this country and start to phase out the fossil fuel industry. That is exactly the opposite of what Joseph Biden is doing. He just approved Willow pipeline, and he's about to approve a bunch more fossil fuel projects. So as he runs for president, we are here to send a message to Joseph Biden that he is not going to get reelected with all of those people that supported him when he said he would shut down fossil fuel projects across this country. Am I right? Yeah. Am I right? Yeah. So he needs to hear it everywhere he goes, that people are not going to show up and vote when they voted for a president who claimed they were going to do one thing and then turned around and did something completely different. So we need to stay on him, because the only way he gets elected again is with all of us, and the only way we save this planet is by forcing him to shut down the fossil fuel industry. All right? All right. So we're going to wrap up, but we're going to stay on Joe Biden this entire presidential campaign to keep his promise to what he said he was going to do. And we want everyone to join us and show up with more people, all right? Yeah. Biden! Off fossil fuels! 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 Biden! Off fossil fuels!
What would be your message to Biden?
Well, Joe Biden needs to do what he promised he was going to do. He said he was going to be a union president, and then he, turned his back on the railroad workers. He said he was going to stop drilling on public lands, and he approved one of the largest, oil and drill projects of my lifetime. And I think a president who wants to run for re-election, with all the support that he had before, the coalition that he built, he needs to keep the promises to the people that he wants to support him again.
Yeah, so my name is Laura. As you can see from my shirt, I'm with the Sunrise Movement, and we're a movement of young people who have been pushing Biden and working with him, before he was elected in 2020 to try to get him to be bold on climate, and got him to make a promise to this country that there would be no new drilling on federal lands, period. And so we're out here telling him that he needs to honor that promise and stop Willow, shut down Alaska LNG, because we can't tell people to vote for him in the next election if he is not going to protect our planet, protect our future, and phase down fossil fuels in the next 6-7 years. So we're gonna keep following him, and especially these meetings with billionaires, they're not gonna get us to where we need to go.